Welcome back. Namibia joined the global community in celebrating the World Science Day for Peace and Development, hosted by the National Commission on Research, Science and Technology in collaboration with UNESCO and the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sports, Arts and Culture. The event took place at the NUST Hotel School under the theme Trust, Transformation and Tomorrow, the Science We Need for 2050. We have Kombara Mopsheni, National Program Officer for Natural Sciences at UNESCO, joining us this evening for a conversation. Kombara, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Daily Roundup. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Well, for viewers who might not be familiar, what exactly is World Science Day for Peace and Development? And of course, why is it important for Namibia to celebrate it?
So the UN World Science Day for Peace and Development was declared in 2001, and it's celebrated every year on 10th November. It's one of the international days that the UN celebrates in sciences. It's a powerful advocacy tool, and it highlights the important role that science plays in society, the need to engage public in science issues, and it also underlines the importance of science in our daily lives. And the objectives of this day are to basically increase awareness of the public on the role of science, to promote national and international scientific collaboration, renew interest and national commitment in sciences, and also draw attention to issues that the scientists themselves face. Now, why is it important for Namibians? I mean, these are UN days. The average person might think, why should I bother with this event? Well, you know, science is everywhere. As we are speaking right now, it's thanks to science. And science offers solutions to a lot of societal challenges, such as climate change, resources, scarcity, pandemics, a lot of things, water, managing natural resources such as water, minerals, and also health. So science is not just in the lab, it's all around us, and it's an important tool to help us face our modern challenges.
I want to talk about what inspired, the focus around this year's theme, which, as I mentioned, is Trust, Transformation and Tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, over the years, there's been a lot of misinformation and distrust in science because of social media. And of course, it's good that everybody has access to information, but there's a lot of distrust in the usual channels of science. And this theme is also to bring science back to the roots, to make it science for good and not to be an elite institution. And we, as scientists, and policymakers, we must remember that respect for science cannot be demanded. It must be built and earned. So the theme, Trust, Transformation, and Tomorrow, the science we need for 2050, is kind of highlighting efforts by the scientific community and stakeholders like UNESCO to strengthen the dialogue and relationship between scientists, researchers, policymakers, the community, learners, and everybody. So everybody has a role to build trust in science. So this is just really a call to the scientists and the policymakers to rebuild the trust for the public at large.
The event also touched on science as a tool for peace and social cohesion. So in your view, how can science actually help communities work together and build trust in a country like Namibia?
Yes. So, one of the challenges during the event, we had wonderful participants, including a lot of students from NUST, UNAM, IUM, and also researchers from the state institutions and researchers from government. And some of the issues that were raised were limited access to information on critical scientific issues in the government, for instance, on water management and on the sharing of indigenous knowledge to input it into sciences. And there was also the issue of misinformation and distrust that was brought up. So I think going back to your question, science, we need to learn how to diversify, to share, and to collaborate and actually listen, not only to the posh researchers, but to our local and indigenous communities and the public at large, just to build a better collective understanding and to improve the literacy. Now, at the event, also a lot of the young people highlighted the lack of opportunities or lack of information to the opportunities, so we can improve on that.
From the activities and the panel discussions, what were some of the key takeaways or standout ideas that you believe could really shape Namibia's scientific journey going forward?
I think during the panel discussion and the presentations and the engagements of the participants, it was agreed that the communication needs to improve. And it would be good to build capacity in policymakers and the scientists so that they can effectively engage with each other and members of the community, and also to provide more opportunities to collaboration locally, nationally, regionally to students who want to start up their career. And of course, there was a lot of interest from the students, and we were happy to note that there are a lot of ladies who are doing mathematics, and so I think the interest in science is there. We just need to improve how we communicate the information on opportunities and resources.
Well, just finally, Kambara, if you could leave young people with one message about the future of science in our country, what would it be?
I'm not sure if I can give you one message, but many messages. Right. So firstly, at UNESCO, we support advancing sciences for policy. And as part of that, we have initiatives such as the International Decade for Sciences for Sustainable Development, which runs it started last year and will go until 2033. And under this umbrella, the theme is Science for All. And I think for young people, I would say, look at all these opportunities between entities such as UNESCO, NCRST, the National Commission, Namibia National Commission for UNESCO, the government ministries that have wonderful scientists. Be curious, go and find out information so that you can be charged of your future career. So we are here to help all the young people to our best ability. Different institutions offer different kind of help, and there's a lot of collaboration opportunities if you are willing to do your part and just go and look for the information and ask. And lastly, I would say everybody is a bit of a scientist. As long as you are a bit curious and you want to understand how things work, you are already doing science.
Ms. Kambara Mopieni, thank you so much for joining us here on the Daily Roundup.
Thank you for having me.
That was Kambara Mopieni, National Program Officer for Natural Sciences at UNESCO, speaking to us about World Science Day for Peace and Development that was commemorated just recently here in the capital. We'll be right back after this break. Now let's take a look at some health matters. Did you know that where you live, the food systems around you, and your lack of opportunities to be active increase your risk of developing obesity? How big is this issue and how can you reduce your risk as well as protect yourself? WHO's Dr. Francesco Branca explains in Science in 5.
Did you know that where you live, the food systems around you, your opportunities to be active, all of this has an impact on your risk of developing obesity? How big is this issue? How can you reduce your risk of developing obesity and protect yourself? And how would you know if you're living with obesity? Hello and welcome to Science in 5. I'm Vismita Gupta-Smith. We are talking to Dr. Francesco Branca today. Francesco, talk to us about obesity.
Obesity is a chronic disease defined by excess fat deposits that impair health. It can lead to type 2 diabetes, heart disease. It may affect bone health, reproduction. It is associated to certain cancers, and it affects the quality of living. And you get obesity because of the consumption of unhealthy diet, because of low physical activity, but also because of poor sleeping pattern and stressful life. Some people are genetically predisposed to obesity, and so it's easier for them to get obese, but also obesity can be the result of using certain medications. Many people live in environments that are conducive to obesity because of foods which are high energy, that are available around the clock, that are cheap.
So, Francesco, how big is this problem of obesity?
Obesity is a problem for health and for economic development. We calculate that 5 million deaths every year are caused by the consequences of obesity, and countries lose up to 3% of their gross domestic product because of obesity.
How would one know if they live with obesity and how can they manage their condition?
To identify obesity, you would measure weight and height and calculate the body mass index. In adults, a body mass index higher than 30 kilogram per square meters helps the diagnosis of obesity. You can also measure waist circumference. In women, a waist circumference over 80 centimeters, and in men over 90 centimeters